If you're having any sort of difficulty while you're running in your legs, chances are your hips are weak. Your hips are your engine to drive you when you run, and they're also the main source of shock absorption. Without powerful hips, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when something in your lower body is going to break down when you run. In addition to power, you need endurance. This 8-step hip blaster program will do just that. Start off on your side with your hip extended. Begin abducting the hip, lifting it to the ceiling. Do 10 reps and work up to 30 as you progress through the program. Be sure your top hip is stacked on top of the bottom and that your abs are engaged. Next is clamshells plus. Start with both of your feet connected and off the table. Keep them in that position and separate your knee from one another. Drive that top knee toward the ceiling without losing the stacked position of your hips. Try to get 10 repetitions and work your way up to 30. The critical part of this exercise program is that you do not rest in between exercises. As soon as you finish, you move right on to the next, which is ankle, knee, ankle, knee. Separate your ankles apart while keeping your knees connected, then lift the knee. Bring the ankles together first, then bring the knees together. 10 to 30 reps. If you guessed that knee ankle is next, you're right. Keep your ankles together, separate your knees, bring the knees together first, and then the ankles. Knee, ankle, 10 to 30 reps, move on to the next. Now that your hip rotators are probably lit up, you're gonna move on to the storybook exercise. For this exercise, bring your hip up closer to 90 degrees as opposed to 45 degrees for the knee, ankle, and ankle, knee. You're gonna separate your knee and ankle from one another at the same time. Work your way through 10 reps and increase to 30 as you progress in the program. The next exercise in the hip blaster program is side lying straight leg raises with your hips flexed to 90 degrees. Bring that top hip up to 90 degrees of flexion. Lift that leg to the ceiling. Keep the foot straight just like you did in the first hip abduction exercise. Pelvis remains stacked. 10 to 30 repetitions. By this point, you should be burning pretty ridiculously in your hip. But you're not done yet. You have to get the hip to 90 degrees and do clockwise circles. 10 to 30 repetitions with that top hip. Keep the pelvis stacked. Then switch to counterclockwise and do another 10 to 30 reps until your hip can no longer hold in the air and you're done the hip blaster program for that side. Flip over, do the other hip all over again. Repeat the exercises at a frequency that's in line with how often you like to run. So if you run 4 times a week, do these exercises 4 times a week. If you like to run daily, do these exercises daily. Watch another video to see whether or not you have the strength to be able to take on a running program. Click here. Subscribe for more pain relieving content. Click over here.